everyone, and good Monday evening to you. Welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks on this Labor Day. Hope you enjoyed the fantastic weather we had for the holiday today. We actually had pretty nice weather throughout most of the Canfield Fair. We had a couple of showers earlier on in the fair, but for the most part, the weather this year was pretty nice. And today on this Labor Day, it was a very seasonable day. 76 the high this afternoon, 2 degrees shy of average, and 56 our low this morning, just 1 degree off the 30-year average. But what a comfortable start to the month of September. Every day has featured highs in the mid-70s since the first day of the month last Wednesday. Tomorrow will be the warmest day of the month so far, with our expected highs in the lower 80s. But of course, we're at the time of the year in which the days are getting shorter. It's really becoming noticeable to a lot of us in the evenings. If you're more of a morning person, you may have noticed, of course, lately that the sun's not up to almost 7 a.m. now. And so today we had 12 hours and 52 minutes worth of daylight. We've lost 2 hours and about 16 minutes of daylight since the first day of summer back on June the 20th. And it's only going to take a couple of weeks for us to dip below 12 hours. By October 1st, we're down to about 11 hours and 43 minutes worth of daylight just in a few weeks. All right, quick trip to the tropics. This is Hurricane Larry, and this is our favorite kind of hurricane. It's beautiful to look at on the satellite picture, but it's what we call a fish storm. This is not going to make landfall anywhere across the lower 48 states. Larry remains a strong, photogenic Category 3 hurricane with a big donut appearance, big wide eye on Larry. This is way out in the Atlantic, 950 miles to the southeast of Bermuda, moving to the northwest at 10 miles per hour. This will take it across the northern Atlantic later this week and into the weekend. It'll dissipate as it encounters the much colder waters east of Newfoundland, and what's left of it will graze Greenland eventually. So, again, our favorite kind of hurricane. We don't have to worry about it here in the U.S., but it makes for a really nice satellite presentation when you have a really symmetrical storm like that. All right, lower 48 states, pretty quiet this evening. A couple of showers, New England, in the southeast, also out in Texas. And our next weather maker coming down out of Canada. This is a cold front that will have some impacts on our weather by tomorrow night. Now, tomorrow during the day, especially in the afternoon, it'll be a pretty active afternoon where the ingredients come together most strongly with our approaching cold front. That would be Michigan, most of lower Michigan, down towards northern Indiana, northeast Illinois, around Chicago as well. Not concerned about severe weather around here. The daylight hours will be dry tomorrow. Back to work, back to school Tuesday morning. Mid-50s early in the day, but we'll make our way into the lower 80s in the afternoon. Couple of showers then later on tomorrow night. Most of this occurring after midnight. I think we'll be damp to start on Wednesday with a scattering of showers, but the best chance for wet weather Wednesday will be before about 10 a.m. After that, the sky should clear. It should be a very nice second half of the day Wednesday. And then this dashed black line is a trough of low pressure that will cause some instability overhead on Thursday, a scattering of showers starting around mid to late morning, taking us into the afternoon. Can't even rule out a thunder shower with that, and this could be a day in which we have some water spouts on parts of the Great Lakes. Current upper air pattern, at least the upper air pattern during midweek, is a pretty familiar one, with a big ridge centered out west, troughing across the Great Lakes and Northeast. This is deflecting all the heat out here. But this pattern's actually going to evolve as we head towards the end of the week, into the weekend, and especially into early next week. That ridge is going to start meandering to the east, and so by early next week, about this time next week, that ridge is centered over the mid-Atlantic states. Now, if it were July, this would be the kind of pattern in which we'd be talking about some 90s. We're not in July anymore, but we'll be several degrees warmer than average, it looks like, for at least a handful of days as we head into next week. And that's reflected on today's Climate Prediction Center 8 to 14 day outlook. Pretty strong odds of a warmer than average period starting late in the weekend and early next week and taking us through the end of next week. So that would be, right around the 17th or 18th. So right in the middle of the month, looking pretty warm. And I kind of suspect the second half of September will overall be warmer than average. We'll probably have some cool shots here and there, as we usually do in late September, but it'll probably come out in the wash as warmer than average the second half of the month. All right, just for fun this evening, on the 5th day of every month, we get an update from the European Center for Medium Range Forecasting. Their seasonal and monthly climate models. Now, we get what we call the European weeklies twice a week. Those go out 46 days, but once a month, we get these this model output that breaks everything down month by month and even season by season. And what I'm showing you is this month's winter temperature outlook off to this month's run of the super long-range European model. And what does it show? Well, it shows a warmer than average winter in the Intermountain West, probably in the southern U.S. as well. And then you see a lot of just nothing across the northern tier. The one thing that, when you're looking at model output like this in the longer range, what tends to happen is the longer range modeling has a hard time, when we're talking months ahead of time, finding cool weather. There's, of course, going to be cool and cold weather. But you'll notice there's hardly any blue on this map. What you can probably interpret a lot of times from modeling like this is a lot of the neutral zone is probably what the model is trying to depict as cooler than average. It has a hard time graphically representing that. And so, what I interpret from this is that this set of modeling would suggest that a colder than average winter may be fairly likely somewhere across the northern tier, warmer than average in the southern tier. We may be pretty close to kind of somewhere in between. Now, this is just one set of modeling. It's only September. This is far from the final forecast and the weather gospel, if you will. But I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at since we have a quiet weather evening. We will be doing our annual winter forecast as usual right around Halloween. Might be at the very end of October, might be during the first week of November. We haven't nailed that down yet, but that's when we'll be doing our annual winter forecast. We always do it around that time every year. And as always, we'll kind of grade ourselves on last year's forecast and talk about what went right, what went wrong. And we always do it up big when it comes to the winter forecast. Written blogs, long videos, you know what to expect if you've been following me and our team for the last handful of years. So look for that in about, 7 or 8 weeks. In the meantime, have a great rest of your Monday night. I'll see you back here on Tuesday.